Welcome everyone. Welcome. As you guys can see on the thumbnail of this live video that I'm gonna do, it's of course following the recent news as of 2 days ago concerning Coach Prime, and I'm gonna say allegedly because none of this has been proven. I haven't read the article yet, but the article that I'm gonna read is coming from Pro Sports, and it's about several Colorado Buffalo players entered transfer portal after Deion Sanders enforced strange rule regarding Lil Wayne concert. Now, I kind of have an idea of what happened. What they're saying is that Coach Prime forced them to go to the concert. He made it mandatory. But I'm going to read the article and break down the article as I always do. I hope there's no lagging involved in this video that I'm going to do right now. If there is, then I'm going to have to shut off the share option and just read the article without you guys seeing it. Maybe it's a personal preference for me. Maybe you guys don't care, but if I try to put myself in the position of the viewer. So if I was a consumer or a viewer of someone's content, and if they're reading an article, I would like to see the article. I've had people who read articles before, like a Ticket. He's done that before. A Ticket on his YouTube channel. He's read articles before, but we don't see it, and the content is still okay. But a lot of the times, I would sit back and listen and tell myself, "Man, it'd be great if I could see the article he's reading and follow along." Maybe that's just a reader in me that wants that prefers that. So if you're coming in to this video, again, this is going to be about Coach Prime and the allegations that he tried to force certain players to go to a concert. I know the news has already gone around, and most of you guys that follow Colorado football and the recent emergence of Coach Prime coming there since last year, like myself, I know you guys have probably heard about this story already, and it's nothing new, but it's new to me. I'm going to read it right now. And it's always good to get different perspectives. Go listen to other people talk about it too. Just don't listen to me. But it's good to have a wide range or deeper range of information to formulate your own judgment, right? You don't want to just always listen to one person and be someone else's echo chamber, meaning that you're echoing what they're saying. You're basically reverberating their message rather than coming up with your own thoughts. There's nothing wrong with listening to other people because that's how we evolve collectively as a human race. But it's very critical that you formulate your own opinion. And even if your opinion aligns with somebody else, make sure it's your opinion. Make sure you're not saying it because somebody else said it. So that's just a way to check yourself. All right, so I've been in here for about 3 minutes. I'm about to get started and read this article about Coach Prime and his alleged rule about forcing certain players to go to a Lil Wayne concert. And I'm going to start it now. And hopefully there's no lag. And if there is, then I'm going to have to shut it off and just read the article without sharing. That my words aren't being choppy, that you can actually understand what I'm saying. Okay, so as I always do, I always start by breaking down the title of the article, right? You guys may ask, why do you do that? Well, I think it's important because the title of the article is the segue into the article, right? It sets the emotion, it sets the foundation in which in which type of direction you're gonna take. A lot of times, the title of an article is the attention grabber. It's the attention getter to the audience, right? So a lot of the times, what these authors try to do to try to put in something in the article to draw you in emotionally. I'm going to break down the title and let's see if the title earns the objectivity ranking. Usually, some titles are completely objective. Then you have some titles that are immersed in a lot of bias and a lot of emotional allure, meaning that they're using emotions to draw you in, to entice you in order to kind of set the segue in which they want you to think. We have to be very careful when we do that. So I'm trying to teach people and teach myself as well to be very, very objective and think critically when I'm breaking down these titles and breaking down the article as well. All right, so let's get started here. All right. So I've highlighted the title, right? It says several Colorado Buffalo players entered transfer portal after Deion Sanders enforced strange rule regarding Lil Wayne concert. Now, when I read this, it comes across as objective, but there's a little bit of bias in there too. I'm going to explain why. We know, and this is where you have to have context in order to elaborate on the content. Okay. You have to have context to elaborate on the content. Okay. The context around this, we all exodus of a lot of Colorado players leaving Colorado to go elsewhere. And then we also had an influx of a lot of players who came in through the transfer portal. Okay. Now, for face value, when you're reading this title with that back knowledge in the back of your mind, it makes it seem like 100% of the players, based upon the way this title is written, it says several Colorado Buffaloes, but it's giving you a sort of a window to make implications to say that if several came out to say they left because of this strange rule by Coach Prime, then that means that many others also left because of some strange rule by Coach Prime. You get what I'm trying to get at now? The title is sort of misleading because it says several Colorado Buffaloes. It didn't say all. So I give the author, whoever wrote the title, I give him kudos for saying several. However, if you have back knowledge of knowing that a lot of players did leave, it gives the implication as if this strange ruling enforced by Coach Prime, making this Lil Wayne concert allegedly mandatory, was a foundational reason as to why people left or people, quote unquote, hit the transfer portal. So it's not the author's fault. The author is stating facts. But this is when you have information and you have background knowledge about certain things, it can also slant your thinking. Because because the title doesn't say all Colorado Buffalo players entered transfer portal. It didn't say all, it said several. But because of what I know, I automatically start to add my perceptions and my implications on what this article might be about. It might be sending a message that we're trying to say that the strange rules of Coach Prime is the reason why people left. Okay. So is the title objective or biased? I would lean and say it's more objective, but because like you and I, most of us have background knowledge of what was going on in Colorado. This is not the first time we've come upon information about Coach Prime like this. Because we have background knowledge, it can sometimes influence your thinking and it could actually impact your prognosis upon a situation when you're trying to examine what's going on. All right. So moving on. So I'm going to give it the objective rating, but slightly tilting to being biased, but more on the objective side. All right. Reading along here, scrolling along. All right. I'm at. All right. All right, let's break it down. It says Colorado Buffaloes head coach Deion Sanders, aka Coach Prime, reportedly caused some of his players to quit because of a strange rule he implemented regarding rapper Lil Wayne. So this is good. This article, this paragraph is good because it sort of gives clarity to the title. Remember, initially when I looked at the title, and I'm being very transparent here. When I looked at the title, I said, "Oh, are they trying to make it seem like players left because he wanted them to go to a Lil Wayne concert?" No, it said several. And then the first paragraph sort of, clears up any false misnomers or any false perceptions about any type of implications that anyone might try to make based upon the title. Okay. So the first paragraph clears that up immediately. It says Colorado Buffaloes head coach Deion Sanders reportedly caused some, not all of his players, so that's good, to quit because of a strange rule he implemented regarding rapper Lil Wayne. Okay. Now, some of you guys may ask, want to quit because he made it mandatory. Do they hate Lil Wayne? Do they hate hip hop? Do they not like black people? I mean, you could try to, or is it the fact that a coach is coming in, changing the theme and changing the environment and changing the culture of Colorado, slightly turning Colorado into another HBCU? Because that's the flavor that Coach Prime is bringing. All right. So when you're making this mandatory, why would players quit because a coach is making you go to a Lil Wayne concert? Do you not like Lil Wayne? Do you not like black people? Do you hate rap? Your coach is black and he's promoting blackness. I don't know what the reasons are, but we're going to read the article and find out. No, they're lying on coach. Well, I hope this is a lie, because I'm going to read this, and I'm glad you said this. Live out your dreams. I'm going to read this article, and there's another article after this that talks about Shador's response to what they're saying about Coach Prime. Yeah, it sounds strange that a coach would force players to go to a concert. I don't know. That's weird. I've never heard anything like that before. You're forcing players to go. I guess if they don't go, you're gonna fire them? Yeah, I'm gonna look up the writer. Thank you. Live out your dreams. All right. So it says in April, Lil Wayne performed a concert during the Buffalo spring game weekend. The beloved rapper is a close friend of Deion Sanders, who's entering his second season as the head football coach in Boulder. Right down here. Report from Athlon Sports. Primetime made Lil Wayne concert mandatory for his players, according to a report from Athlon Sports. So is Athlon Sports credible? Well, I'm going to look that up as well. And I implore you guys to do the same thing, because that's a bogus claim in a sense. I've never seen anything like that. Now, we all know Coach Prime loves Lil Wayne, but will a grown man in his late 50s, is he going to go to a concert? I don't know. Honestly speaking, I would say no. That doesn't seem like something that a grown coach would do. I can see the coach promoting it. I can see the coach speaking highly of the artist, but to make a rule, making it mandatory, bringing the hammer down to say you have to go to the Lil Wayne concert, that sounds a little bit, I don't know, very strange to say the least. Look up the credibility. According to a report from Athlon Sports, Primetime made a Lil Wayne concert mandatory for his players. The outlet heard from several Colorado players that the Pro Football Hall of Famer to dismiss anyone who skipped out? Yikes. What do you guys think, man? I mean, let's use our common sense. Is that something? And I know you guys think that I'm a Deion hater. Some of you guys may think, but I'm not. I'm being very, very, because if I was a hater, I would coach. I mean, I know that Coach Prime sticks up for his son. I know that Coach Prime is big on daddy ball. I know Coach Prime, he does certain things that I do not agree with, but threatening your team, I don't know. I don't want to buy that, but let's continue to see. Let's see. Here's what one source told Athlon Sports. It says, the Wayne concert, this is in quote, we're all comments. If I'm lagging too much, if I'm breaking up a lot, let me know. Then I'll clip the sharing and just read it without you guys seeing the article. All right, it says the Wayne concert was the final straw for a few players who hit the transfer portal. Okay, so these players, okay, I like that. Now I'm going to break that down. These players were already going to leave anyway. It's sort of like two people who are in a bad relationship. It's a lot of arguing involved. There's a high degree in the relationship. Both partners are not living out their best life, so to speak. Neither one of them are living to their higher selves. They're both frustrated. And so one partner is like, I'm ready to leave this relationship. He or she starts to just nitpick at everything because they're already frustrated. That person is already mentally checked. There's one more thing. Proverbial cliche of when they say the straw that broke the camel's back. Well, these players are a few players. They're already going to leave anyway. So this means that there's motive behind this. Ulterior motives, duplicitous motives, malicious motive. Why? Because you're already going to leave anyway. You're already frustrated. You already don't want to be in Colorado. And that's fine. You're well within your own rights. But while you're leaving, it's almost like the partner that's leaving, I'm going to do a little something to stick it to you before I leave one last time. That's what this seems like. It seems like players who are disgruntled, who are already frustrated with the program, and whatever reasons they were frustrated, they're well within their own rights to be frustrated. I understand that. And they're like, you know what, man? Let's to say about Coach Prime that, and maybe they're maybe they perceive that Coach Prime made it mandatory, but at this point they've already mentally checked out. They're already gone. So if they can slander Coach Prime or lie about Coach Prime on their way out the back door, then I can see that being very, very plausible and highly possible. These are players that were already out. They were already leaving. It says the Wayne concert was the final players who hit the transfer portal. Final means that there were already a bunch of straws that were on their backs. They were already tired of Coach Prime. They were just looking for one more thing to just say, man, we're out of here. They were already checked out. Okay. So the Lil Wayne concert was the final straw for a few players who hit the transfer portal. When Coach Prime told us we all had to be there to support Shador as a rapper, they were not. Okay, now at first you're talking about going to the Lil Wayne concert. Coach saying they have to support Shador as a rapper. Okay, they were not happy at all. To be honest, it was nothing but a huge distraction, and Daddy Ball was being played. Okay. Now, the alignment of this article, the placement of this quote is sort of out of place because I'm thinking Lil Wayne. That's who I thought they were going to talk about. Now they're talking about telling the team that they had to go support Shador as a rapper. Well, let me speak on defense of Coach Prime in doing that. Because it's Coach Prime's son, it's going to muddy the interpretation of it because you're going to hear people say it's about Daddy Ball, the term that he just used, right? Daddy Ball. Okay. If Coach Prime is trying to build team chemistry, I have the benefit of the doubt because until he shows me otherwise, and I'll speak on it if he shows me otherwise. If there's any other player on the team that has their own personal endeavor that they're pursuing, I would hope that Coach Prime would also make the other players go to that other player's event. So let me give you an example. Say he's a great pianist. He knows how to play a piano concert. I would hope that Coach Prime would galvanize the troops and make all the players on the team to go support that player. I don't care if the player's a kicker, if he's a defensive end. I don't care what position he plays. I would hope that Coach Prime would have the same sort of energy that he has towards his son at a rap concert, same energy for any other team, making the other players go support one another. I'm saying that because remember back when he first started, remember that fight that broke out in practice, ripped into his players saying, you know, we all don't sit there, we all jump in because we're one, we fight together. So if Coach Prime is continuing with that same mantra, I would hope that this is not about it's because it's my son. I want you guys to go support my son. I would hope that for any other player on the team. So that's why I'm going to leave that there. I saying it was the final straw that broke. Was the final straw for players who hit the transfer portal when Coach Prime told us we all had to be there to support Shador as a rapper. They were not happy at all. To be honest, it was nothing but a huge distraction, and Daddy Ball was being played. I can see why people may perceive it that way. I can see why. All right. Then this is Coach Prime, the Nike Prime, the apparel. We truly appreciate you all. The new color waves, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's not, okay, that has nothing to do with the article here. Okay, so I'm going to continue reading. Okay, it says Deion Sanders' son, Shador Sanders, performed his perfect timing single at the concert with the Lil Wayne. Close to 36 players have left the Buffaloes program via the transfer portal this offseason. Okay, so the title of the article is misleading. The title of the article is because it makes it seem like he forced the players to go to a Lil Wayne. He forced the players to go support his son, who happened to be performing at a Lil Wayne concert. So maybe his son was a person that started off the concert, and then the main person that was performing was Lil Wayne. Okay, that's what's going on here. All right, so now it makes a little bit more sense. It's not that Coach Prime is forcing players to go to a Lil Wayne concert. It seems like Coach Prime is trying to build team chemistry by forcing his players to go support his son. And I will hope his son and or any other player on the team that has their own personal endeavor that they're doing, whether it's a concert that they're going to or whatever thing that they have going on that's apart from football. I would hope that Coach Prime will galvanize the team to build team chemistry to say, hey, guys, let's all go support one another when we're doing these events. That's what I see happening. When I put on my critical thinking hat, that's what I see happening. The way they're painting Coach Prime, or they're trying to paint Coach Prime, is some daddy immersed into daddy ball. There's a degree of daddy ball that's involved, but in this particular sense, I think there's a deeper rationale into why he's doing what he did. I don't think he's just saying go support my son because he's my son. I think he's trying to build something here. That's just my take. And if I'm wrong, guys, leave a comment. That's just what I think. All right. It says Deion Sanders' son, Shador, performed his perfect with Lil Wayne. Close to 3 dozen players have left the Buffaloes program via the transfer portal this offseason. After 3 years, I'm down here, at Jackson State, Sanders signed a lucrative 5-year deal with the Buffaloes worth $29.5 million. So you do the math. $29.5 million, that's about $30 million divided by 5. So he's roughly getting paid here. After leading the top championship over Shador and several other Jackson State stars to Boulder. Then down here, it says Colorado jumped out to a no start last season, highlighted by a win over the TCU Horned Frogs. In the season opener, however, the Buffaloes came back to earth as their schedule got tougher and they dropped 8 of their final 9 games to finish. I don't think their schedule, Oregon, I think the Oregon game and the Oregon game and the UCLA game, those 3 games to me were the hardest on their schedules. Every other team they could have beaten. You got to agree with me. They could have beaten every other team. It was just poor play calling coupled with being very predictable. And, of course, having a horrible offensive line that couldn't block for Shador, but then why continue to pass the damn ball? Why not use Alton to relieve some of the pressure from I'm just a dummy in front of a computer talking nonsense. All right. Let me continue here. Okay, revamped Buffalo's open season versus North Dakota. Buffalo's biggest problems last time. So I'm not going to read the rest because it's talking about next year. I mean, talking about what happened last year and talking about what's going to happen this year in terms of the offensive line. So I'm going to stop my sharing here. And yeah, so tell me what you guys think. I mean, do you think that because, I mean, that's really tricky. That's why it's very important to read, because if you're just looking at this, you would just think, oh, he forced his players just to go see Lil Wayne. That's a misleading title. So no longer am I going to say that this title is being objective. This title is very biased because it's misleading. This is what the title should have said. All right. Live out your dreams. That Stanford game took their heart. Yeah, it took their heart. Yeah, when you lose, that Stanford game took my heart. I don't even play. When you lose in that fashion after dominating so much in the first half and you just totally lose it, that does something to you psychologically. I don't give a damn who you are. I know people say it's just a game. It's just one game. A loss is a loss. It doesn't matter how you lose. No, it matters how you lose. It matters how you lose. And that type of losing, the way they lost, it bleeds over into the next game. That kind of loss kind of has a ripple effect. It snowballs. It gets bigger and bigger. That impact, you can never get that monkey off your back. So, yeah, I totally agree with you. Live out your dreams. That Stanford game really tore their hearts apart. So getting back to this article, this is what the article should have said. Let me share my screen one more time. This is what the article should have said, because this article is very, very misleading. This had nothing to do with the freaking Lil Wayne concert. Right? And total pro sports, they should be an article like this, especially letting a title like this stand. It says several Colorado Buffaloes players entered transfer portal after Deion Sanders enforced strange rule regarding Lil Wayne concert. No. Several Colorado Buffaloes players entered transfer portal after Deion Sanders enforced a team rule to support one another, or enforced a team rule because it was a team rule. It was about the team. It was not about Lil Wayne. That's what, see, they're trying to make us think that he wanted his team to go support Lil Wayne because Coach Prime loves Lil Wayne. That's not what, this was not about Prime. It was about Shador, but it was more about team. That's the way I'm reading it. I could be wrong. All right. So this is the way it should have read. Several Colorado Buffaloes players entered transfer portal after Deion Sanders enforced a team rule where team members had to support one another. That's objective. Now, if the title of the article was written that way, it exposes the complainers. It exposes those who came out and said that it was the final straw. It makes them seem like they're the ones that are haters, because it's all about perspective and what lens you're looking through. If you're looking through Coach Prime's lens and you're seeing the rationale as to why he's doing what he's doing towards his son, if his intent is to build team chemistry and team support, then it makes it seem like those several players that hit the transfer portal were never part of the team anyway, in terms of their heart and their compassion and their willingness to sacrifice for other people. So you can consider them quote unquote haters, right? But because the title of the article was written in a way to make it seem like it was all about Lil Wayne, then it makes it look like the players that left had a right reason to leave, because they're leaving this clown called Coach Prime because he's forcing players to go to a Lil Wayne concert. It was not about Lil Wayne. It was about supporting his son. But I hope, but because I've seen certain things that Coach Prime has done, whether he's doing it for the cameras, that's yet to be seen. I can't read a man's heart. All I can do is go off what I see. That fight that broke out last year when he got mad at the team and said, we fight together, we do things together. I think that's the same type of theme, and that's the same type of culture. That's the same type of environment that he's trying to cultivate with his team. Support one another. Not just because he's my son, Shador. If another player on the team was a guitarist and he had a guitar concert, I would hope that Coach Prime would enforce another rule to say you guys have to go support so-and-so over there because he has a guitar concert. That's the lens I'm looking at. That's my binoculars is focused on that perspective, which makes it seem like those players who wanted out were the ones who were not really part of the team. So that's my take on that. Let me stop sharing here for a second. That's my take on that. All right. So the title of the article was not written objectively. It's very, very highly misleading, to say the least. Very misleading, to say the least. Okay. So leave a comment, guys. Send me what you think. That's just my thoughts. If you agree, I think that he was doing it for team purposes. I don't think that he would force players to go to a Lil Wayne concert and then kick them off the team if they didn't. I think he would kick players off the team if they conducted themselves in a way that was detrimental to the team's success. That's where this is going. You can't dismiss players because they didn't go to a Lil Wayne concert, but you can dismiss players if they're not following the team process to build team chemistry. So let's say there's a mandatory team meeting and some players say, to hell with it, I'm not going to go. Coach Prime is well within his rights to kick those players off because it's conduct that's detrimental to the what? Team. When he said go to Shador's rapping concert, yes, it was Lil Wayne's concert. We understand that. But the son Shador was performing, all right, in Lil Wayne's concert. He just wanted the team to go there to support Shador, not to support Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne has nothing to do with the damn football team. So again, I don't agree with that article. I see where it's trying to go. It's trying to be on the side of the players that left. Again, this is a biased article. It's not objective, and I do not agree with it. I don't think that Coach Prime is going to kick players off the team for not going to a concert. That's ridiculous. All right. All right. I'm going to come back with another video, with another article that Shador, he responded to this, and let's see what he says. And maybe Coach Prime did say that, but from in real time, as I'm reading this doesn't seem credible. Like the article lost all credibility by trying to mislead me with the title. I don't like that. All right, leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think. All right, I'll be back with another one. All right, bye-bye. Leave a comment, and I'll be right back with another one.